Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Memoria Freese video, and welcome to the latest rerun banners in Danmemo. Welcome to the final banners of the 5th anniversary, and welcome to Knights of Fianna Part 3. Yes, we're going to be talking about all the units on the Knights of Fianna Part 3 gacha banners, including some very good units. A unit actually in this banner is S tier for me in my tier list, which you can go and check out, by the way. You should go and check out the tier list that I made regarding only the 4-star adventures in Danmemo. It's very nice, and it gives you guys an idea on how strong some of these units are on this banner. But before we get into the banner itself and talk about the units, remember to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Memoria Freese content, especially if you guys go on to enjoy this video, and let me know in the comment section down below, out of all of these 3 units and these 3 units, which one is your favorite unit? It can be the strongest unit, it can be the most fun unit, it can be the best unit for you maybe, right? So let me know in the comment section down below which of these 6 units is your favorite. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say down below. But yes, we're going to be going through the Knights of Fianna Part 3 gacha banners. We have the Bravery banner right here, as well as the Courageous Heart banner. Now, personally, I think the Bravery banner is far and away the superior banner. I'm not even kidding. This is a much better banner compared to Courageous Heart. And the reason for that is Finn and Alkitian. Easily, these 2 units are a step above all of the other units on this banner, on these banners I should say, not just this banner, but these banners in total. And frankly speaking, they are go-tos in all honesty. Obviously, with the 6th anniversary so close, I can no longer call them must summons, but there used to be a period in time where during the 5th anniversary itself, the 3rd part of the 5th anniversary is what I meant to say. I just collated 3rd and anniversary together and called it 3rd anniversary. But no, in part 3 of the 5th anniversary, as well as the rerun in January when we had the rerun for the Knights of Fianna banners, I literally said that these guys are must summons. And frankly speaking, if you don't have them MLB by now, I would probably say that, you know, it's better to wait right now because of the anniversary being so close. But I really wouldn't blame you guys for, you know, doing a couple of multis to try and get them MLB from like +4 or +3, to be honest. I really wouldn't blame you guys, but be very cautious. Again, like I've been saying for the last couple of days now, we are less than a week from the anniversary, literally less than a week away from the anniversary. By this time next week, we will have gotten the anniversary units, and we would have already summoned on stream right now. By the way, we're going to be streaming the anniversary for sure. So I would highly advise you guys to be very cautious and be very patient with your iris. Don't go guns blazing and spending all your iris on these banners, because even though there's some insane units, and we'll talk about them in a second, the anniversary is like 6 days away now. Be very careful. All right, so let's take a look at the Bravery banner first and foremost, the better banner. Like I said, first and foremost, we are going to talk about True Courage Spear Finn, probably the best unit amongst all of these units, an easily S tier unit, according to my own tier list I should say, but an S tier unit nonetheless. So he is a light physical attack type unit and one of the heartbeats of the light team. If you take a look at his stats, right, very solid stats overall, very much anniversary level stats, basically you could say. Nearly 2200 strength, 733 endurance, 933 dexterity, agility 1278. The only thing he's really lacking in a little bit is dexterity, and that too only by 70 points. Otherwise he would have had over 1000 dexterity, over 700 endurance, over 1200 agility, and nearly 2200 strength. If he would have been insane, he would have been downright insane. An unbelievable unit just based on the stat spread alone. Now, this is where he gets even better. Special arts, Tracks of Courage, single target, ultra light physical attack, damage plus 100% per each self STR buff skill. So automatically an unbelievable attack because he's giving himself 200% damage on his special arts, which is phenomenal, based on the number of STR buff skills. Of course, if you have 2, he gets 200%. If it's 1, 100%. If it's 0, he doesn't get any damage boost. But 200% as a maximum is phenomenal, and it's a very easy to achieve 200%. Then on top of that, he also gives himself 4 additional actions of highlight physical attack. Now, Take note of this, by the way. He first and foremost gives himself insane damage on his special arts, and then on top of that, he will deal more damage through his additional attacks as well. He's got the best of both worlds, basically, and the only thing he's really missing here is the fact that he doesn't have any sort of ultra penetration rate or unguard rate or anything of that sort. That's the only thing he's really missing. But his 4 additional actions of highlight physical attack make you just ignore everything else because of the effects attached to it. So it decreases the opponent's P-res by 60% for 2 turns, and also on top of that, it increases your allies' STR, magic, endurance, agility, and dexterity by 60%, and also increases their SA gate charge gain by 66% for 2 turns on allies. It's an insane buff. Honestly, it's an insane buff skill, and it's so well designed because it's just doing so many things at the same time. It's dealing damage, it's dealing debuffs, it's buffing your allies, it's doing so much together. This guy is insane. He's the reason why the light team was so enabled when it first came out during the 5th anniversary. Unbelievable unit, and fantastic. Still to this day a core member and a heartbeat of the light team, obviously only enhanced by the introduction of Hero Festa Bell, of course, right? Now, his first combat skill, Piercing Spear, is a single target highlight physical attack damage plus 20% damage per each self STR, magic, endurance, agility, dexterity, and SA gate charge buff effect. So if you have all 6 through both adventures and assists, you will gain 240% additional damage through this highlight physical attack. Insane damage, but you need to have all 6. It's the reason why certain assists, like for example Kid Felice, who can give all 5 bonus stats, right, of STR, magic, endurance, dexterity, and agility, is so useful. It's so useful having that sort of a unit because it enables Finn. It really does enable Finn. So yeah, really good unit. And ultra penetration rate, of course. Just that extra bit of guaranteed damage there, basically. All right, leading spear, the second skill. If my Elgato would come back in, please, Elgato, come on. Chop. We don't got all day. There we go. Thank you so much, leading spear. So leading spear, foes fast super light physical attack with temporary strength boost and ultra encounter rate, and damage received attack type all and single targets plus 30%, and light res minus 40%, and self STR and light attack damage plus 70% for 2 turns. So this is where his war game side comes in, because so far you might have thought that, oh, he's a record buster unit, right? No, he's got a record buster side and a war game side. So this is his war game side, as well as technically also his PvE side, because of the fact that he can debuff every single enemy while giving himself STR and light attack damage as well. Fantastic ability. It's also a fast super light physical attack, which means it will go first if it can go first, of course, right, in comparison to what the other enemies and allies do, of course, right? But basically it's a fast ability doing a lot of things basically. So really good ability. Now, inspiring courage doubles down on the war game side of Finn, basically. Allies slow removes STR, magic, and agility debuffs, so it goes last basically, and it removes any sort of debuffs the enemies place on you. Now, of course, this is a slow debuff, which means that compared to other slow attacks, it will go before them, but it's still a slow effect nonetheless. So it'll go faster, it'll go slower than any other normal attack slash buff slash magic attack, or any fast attack or debuff or buff, basically. So it'll go slower than all those things. It's just that compared to slow attacks, it will go first nonetheless. So that's something to bear in mind. He also gives himself avoids KO times 1 when HP is greater than 10%, and also, or he gives to all allies, I should say, and then 3 additional actions of mid-light physical attack, and removes agility, P-res, and M-res buffs on foes. So basically helping out massively on the second turn if he can go first, basically. So really good ability there, in all honesty. Now, here is bonuses, his passives, I should say. The main thing to take a look at is the counter damage plus 60%. That's where you're gonna see a lot of damage for, you know, modes like PvE, basically, right? Again, very good when he's countering. Very good when he's countering. Now, Galmus, Mighty Valor Galmus, a staple in the stall team, of course. The physical earth unit, as you can see right here. Here are his stat spreads. Very high endurance because he's a stall unit. Very nice endurance stat. Now, His special odds destructive acts as an AoE Ultra Earth physical attack with temporary great strength boost and ultra penetration rate and remove status buff, and allies P-res, Earth attack damage counter rate, and status ailment res plus 70% for 3 turns. Again, very stall based adventure, so special arts wise he's not going to be too crazy, but he does a decent amount of stuff, especially when he's giving all that support ability through his supporting buff on the special arts, of course, right? So that's very, very nice. His first combat skill, Ground Cracker, is a single target super earth physical attack with temporary great strength boost and ultra penetration rate. His second skill, Acceleration Charge, by the way, I'm not focusing on the first skill because it's just there. It's literally just there, by the way. But his second skill, Acceleration Charge, is where things get very interesting. It's an AoE super earth physical attack with temporary temporary strength boost, not great strength boost, just temporary strength boost, and ultra on guard rate, and status buff minus 2 turns, so he nullifies the opponent's damage, their defensive buffs or anything of that sort by 2 turns, and he also gives himself 70% HP heal and STR plus 70% for 3 turns. This is a nice second turn ability because his first turn ability is Brave Advance. This is the ability that you want to use on the first turn he is on the field in PvP. Allies fast received damage, attack type all and single targets, minus 40%, and stun res plus 100%, and he also gives himself P-res, earth attack damage, guard rate, and counter rate plus 70% for 5 turns, and then 3 additional actions of mid-earth physical attack on foes. The second half is very basic, I'm not going to focus too much on that, but what is really good is the first half. Being able to reduce damage received by 40% for all allies, especially if you have other members of the team that are, meant to stall, like say for example, Hero Festa Ryu or anybody else, right? You're going to want to run this guy with them, because if they can't reduce their own damage through a fast damage received minus X%, this guy will basically help out and give that extra bit of defense for that unit, right? Of course, if you have a unit like, say for example, Otaro, who's able to give himself P-res and M-res, but he can't give himself any other defensive ability, you'll want to run a unit like this Galmus who can give him that damage reduction as well. So overall, you're basically using this Galmus as a supporting unit for your main stall unit, basically, right? Be it Astraeus, Otaro, Hero Festa Ryu, whoever it may be. So that's something to bear in mind. And of course, the stun res is really helpful against ailment units, and then the rest of the kit is mainly just so that if he survives, he can deal some damage on his own and also hold up against opponents that are of the physical nature, because he gives himself 70% P-res. Against magic units though, he is a little bit vulnerable, unfortunately. He is a little bit vulnerable. He does give himself 40% guard rate though, which is really, really nice on his passive skill. Again, helps him out tremendously in PvP. Now, Queen's Oath Alkitian. This is a fantastic unit, in my personal opinion. She does such a good job in being the unit that she is, because she's meant to basically enable the light and earth teams, basically. Her main stat is dexterity, so it's nothing too crazy over there. Really solid for, I guess, PvE contents, but nothing unbelievable for PvP and stuff. But her MLB assist skill, Oath of the Queen ++, is allies light attack damage and earth attack damage plus 25%, and guard rate plus 20%, and self STR and magic plus 20%. A fantastic ability. I don't need to explain about too much this ability. This ability doesn't need further explanation. I mean, it's very, very literal. Bonus damage to light and earth, guard rate, and the unit that she's on gets STR and magic. Fantastic option if you're running a light team. And frankly speaking, if we do get a lot of earth units in the anniversary, she will still hold her own unless we do get a 30% earth attack damage boosting unit. But if we don't, she's the go-to. 100%. Very much the go-to. So that is the banner 1. Very, very good units. Finn, Alkitian, Galmus, very solid units overall. Very, very solid units overall. Now, we move on to Courageous Heart, and this is a very interesting banner because some of the units on these banners are really solid, albeit a little bit dated, you could argue, because of certain releases that have happened since then, but they're still very much units that you can run and are still strong in their appropriate teams. Let's take a look at Battle Dance Elmina first and foremost, a earth physical attack type unit. You can see her stats right there, very solid overall, good amount of agility, good STR, lower dexterity, but a higher than normal endurance, instead of 500 it's 600 basically. the lower end of 600, but still lower 600 nonetheless. If you take a look at her special arts, Courageous Serenade, it's an AoE Ultra Earth physical attack with temporary great strength boost and Ultra on guard rate, and P-res minus 60% and self plus 120% STR for 3 turns, and 4 additional actions of high Earth physical attack with high critical rate on foes. Very solid special arts, but not a crazy special arts, you know. The minus 60% P-res, while nice, I mean, we literally just saw Finn doing that, and she only has temporary great strength boost, but she does give herself 120% SCR, which helps her out a lot, obviously dealing more damage. But again, if you have a unit like, say for example, Haruhime on the field, Nine-Tailed Manifestation Haruhime, you're getting 120% STR there basically. So whatever she's doing in her special arts, a lot of other units are providing her with that already, right? So that kind of makes it invalid a little bit in my personal opinion. But of course, if she's in a team where those units do not exist, she's great. She's honestly great. Furthermore, her additional actions are nice. High Earth physical attack with high critical rate will help out tremendously. It's a solid special arts, but again, nothing to write home about, to be quite honest. Nothing to write home about. Her first combat skill, Pirouette Dagger, is a single target super earth physical attack damage plus 80% per each self STR buff skill and ultra on guard rate. Very, very solid. Very, very, very solid. 160% damage, super earth modifier, ultra on guard rate. Very nice first skill. Very, very nice skill for PvE contents in particular. Death's Dance Step is an AoE super earth physical attack with ultra on counter rate and earth res minus 40% and self earth attack damage plus 100% for 4 turns, and removes agility debuffs and plus 3 actions of mid earth physical attack with high critical rate on foes. Very nice skill, especially if you're running a sort of earth rush team, right? The earth res down and the earth attack damage up for herself, along with the ability to remove agility debuffs, will help your team out tremendously. Very, very solid first ability, in all honesty, for PvE, both PvE and PvP contents, in all honesty. Very nice skill. Morse's Saltatio is an AoE fast guard rate and counter rate minus 40% and damage received plus 40% from AoE attacks, and allies STR dexterity and critical rate plus 40% for 1 turn. It's a good ability. It kind of weakens the enemies really tremendously, especially if you can go from turn, the second skill to the third skill and she goes first, obviously, right? It'll help the team out tremendously because you're just weakening the opponents. But I feel like, I mean, it could have been a little bit better, you know. It could have been a little bit better, and I think a lot more people would have been impressed. But still, it's a nice ability to go from, the second skill to the third skill. And like I said, for certain teams, it operates really, really well. I've seen it happen to me in war games, being nullified by her and her Earth colleagues. So yeah, I can see it being very, very good, you know. Alright, Beastly Warrior Yuri, wind physical attack type unit, as you can see. Very nice stat spread once again. Dexterity, endurance, agility, strength, all very, very nice. His special arts, Carving Moonclaw, is an AoE ultra wind physical attack damage plus 90% per each target's wind res reduction skill and ultra critical rate, and endurance and P-res minus 60% for 3 turns. Very interesting special arts, to be quite honest. First and foremost, very nice that he's getting 180% damage boost along with being an ultra ability. Fantastic, of course, right? Ultra critical rate, obviously very solid. The endurance and P-res minus 60% is handy, but yet again, like I said earlier on, a lot of these units are capable of doing what he and of course Elmina are doing. So it ends up becoming a situation of, well, I mean, sure, you know what, sure, kind of thing. It kind of becomes like, sure, we'll let you run for sure, right? But still, not bad ability at all, especially when you're going into PvE contents and, you know, the enemies are weak to wind physical. He's going to be a fantastic option. He is going to be a deadly option for sure. Combat skill number 1, Beast Claw Strike. Single target super wind physical attack, damage plus 80% per each target's wind res reduction skill and ultra critical rate. Very nice first skill, again, good for PvE contents, 160% in total. Overall, very, very solid. Nothing to complain about there, to be honest. The first skill is solid. Rampaging Claw is an AoE fast super wind physical attack with ultra on counter rate and removes STR magic and dexterity buffs and wind res, critical rate and penetration rate minus 40% for 5 turns. Not bad whatsoever. Not bad whatsoever at all. Very, very solid, especially if it's going on turn 2. You're basically nullifying the damage the opponents inflict on you if you manage to pull this off before they attack. So that's something that's good. However, the only issue is that a lot of units nowadays, what they do is on turn 1, they do an attack with additional actions, right? And then on turn 2, they have like a fast buff slash debuff, which means that their additional action will go off before this guy can do anything. So that means before he can strip away their buffs, they've already attacked, unfortunately. Be they be a magic unit or physical unit. So that's a bit of a problem only when it comes to Yuri, to be quite honest. Moonlight transformation, his third skill, is ally slow null physical attack times 1. I don't know why they did slow and null physical attack only times 1 when you have Nocturnal Elf running about doing times 2 physical and magic, right? I don't know. And then on top of that, he gives himself STR agility, ailment rest plus 70% for 5 turns, and then 3 additional actions of mid-wind physical attack with ultra critical rate on foes, ailment cure, and wind attack damage plus 70% for 3 turns on self. So the thing with this third skill is, right, is that it's nice that it's slow because his agility buff will stick most likely depending on the units you face and everything, right? But the second issue is that it's a slow null physical attack times 1, which means it's kind of invalid, to be quite honest, because you've already taken up run of the attacks at the start of the turn, right? It's a bit annoying, unfortunately. I feel like what would have been better, right, is if it was a slow buff, but the null physical attack should have been on the second skill, in my personal opinion. I think that would have made it a little bit better, to be quite honest, in my personal opinion. I think that's the change that they needed to do. And why not give it times 2? Why is it just times 1? Literally, the release after this, right? After part 3 of Knights of Fianna, we got Xenos Reverse in as the new event right after the anniversary, and we got Supply Princess Eyes, who gave null physical times 2. Why did you give this guy times 1? What was the point in that, Danmemo? What was the point in that? I don't know. I don't know. The rest of it is fine. Don't get me wrong. The rest of it is actually really nice, but it's just that. What? Why? Why? Literally, why? I don't know, man. It's weird. But yes, as you can see here, his bonuses from his passive. The main thing you want to note is that when he counters, he will deal 35% extra damage per each target's wind res reduction skill. So he gets an extra 70% damage on his counters, basically, which is kind of nice. I wish a couple of more units did something like that, especially for PvE contents. It would be nice, but oh well, it is what it is. Hound's Oath Alf. Now, this guy is still really good, but unfortunately, with the release of Valhalla Panic Alan, kind of also lost out a little bit, but he's still really solid. So if you take a look at his MLB assist skill, Heroic Protection Fang, it's allies agility and critical rate plus 15%, and self STR and agility plus 20%, and 4 instant effects of when he's attacked, STR magic minus 40% for 1 turn, and removes P-res buffs on a foe twice per turn. Really good as part of the counter team, you know, because the thing is, what he does is he strips away the opponent's P-res buffs, which means that the counter assist like Argonaut and Tiona, it's Tiona, yeah, it's Tiona. I was about to say, was it Tiona or Tiona? It was Tiona. Tiona is the counter assist, but counter assists like Argonaut and Tiona can do extra damage if he strips away the P-res buffs first and foremost. So in that regards, he's still very solid, and the fact that he's also obviously an agility based assist, he's helping with agility control, is very nice. It's just that Alan gives 20% agility to all allies, and it's not just 15% to allies and self 20% agility, right? I think obviously that's the only drawback to this guy, but otherwise Alan is obviously 20%. Otherwise, this guy is really, really solid for the physical counter team especially. So yeah, very solid units overall. I mean, like I said, these guys are still to this day fantastic options, but with 6 days to go for the anniversary, I mean, you know, we're moving from one anniversary to another basically. So you know what to do already. Don't summon on this banner, to be quite honest, unless you have one unit at +4. Only then would I recommend doing the first 2 steps and checking if you would get that unit. Otherwise, no, you do not summon. Do not summon. Do not pass go. Do not click draw 11, basically, is what you need to do. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.